All right, the two-pronged. The question is two-pronged. The first one regarding the multiple charges and taxes.
Yes.
These were the things that existed before we came to office. But then even as aviation minister, you have your own limitations because I am not the finance minister. I'm not the one running the economy. So we have referred that matter back to those who are in charge of taxes in the country. But I speak with you. A committee is working on that right now, because the president is also extremely concerned about multiple taxation. You know, the president is big on that. He has been doing a lot, you know, in that respect. He has also paid attention to the aviation sector. So very soon, very soon, we are going to streamline some of those taxes regarding what you have in the aviation sector. But that is not the only thing that was affecting prices. What was also affecting prices is the lack of capacity of the private operators, because the lack of capacity was also leading to shortage of aircraft. Not only shortage of aircraft, even if they have access to aircraft, you have old aircrafts coming to the country. I'm sure you see many Nigerians complain about the type of aircraft that they enter into the country. Now, so let me explain that to Nigerians. The reason why that was happening is that the world lacked confidence in the Nigerian judicial system and the aviation system. They felt that if they brought their equipment here, the equipments were not safe enough. Because in the past, Nigerians were used to taking this aircraft, bringing them to Nigeria, and then it was difficult for these leasers to take their aircraft back. Because all the aircraft you see flying in Nigeria, perhaps only 2% is fully owned. 98% of them are leased. It's not peculiar, it's like that all over the world. Even the biggest airlines, and we have repeated this 100 times on this show, but we'll keep repeating it, that the biggest airlines in the world do not own aircraft. It's difficult. They lease their aircraft. So Nigeria is not also, it's not an exception to that. But for you to now have access to the best aircraft in the world, like for example the new ones they're just bringing out, or the ones that are not too old, these are seen as very, very expensive. They will take it to a place, a jurisdiction where they have confidence that if there's a default, they can easily get their aircraft out. So if they don't have too much confidence in your system, you will see these old aircraft, the ones that, well, they say that if they don't bring it back, I'm not losing too much, I've gotten enough money from this aircraft. So take 25-year-old aircraft, 20-year, take it to this place. If they use it tired, they bring it back. So we're not in the top tier in terms of access to such.
Are we now?
We are now. This
so is
not only we are number one in Africa. Not just that we are. Before we were 49 point, because these leasers and financiers, they follow what they call the rating of countries. You are rated by the Aviation Working Group in terms of your credibility and access, ease of doing business in your country by foreign investors, foreign financiers. Before we came to office, before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came to office, we were 49.5% officially. Go and look at the website. Just Google it. Aviation Working Group. That's collates these scores around the world. When we came to office and we attacked these problems by the practice direction of the Cape Town Convention that we signed, and of course the IDERA, the Irrevocable Deregistration and Export Request Authorization, they call it IDERA, we moved up to 75.5%, which is officially the highest in Africa. So in fact, our jurisdiction is the best in Africa now in terms of aircraft leasing and all of that. If not that, there's shortage of aircrafts across the world now. So let me just tell you that now. We would have started seeing the results as in yesterday. But all over the world now, there's shortage of aircraft because the manufacturers have too much, orders on the line. Boeing, Airbus, Embraer, and all of that. And they all have a backlog. But very soon, very, very soon, we are going to, especially when you have COMAC of China coming into the picture, because COMAC is going through this auditing process now. When the Chinese come into this business, COMAC is the Chinese equivalent of Boeing and Airbus.
Everybody sits up when China comes to the table.
I have gone there. I've gone to COMAC. It's humongous. It's humongous.
Okay, very quick.
But they are producing planes for the whole of Asia, and they are flying.
I know you have a lot to say. It's been 2 years on the side, but I asked you also about the single air transport market because it's very important. That's
the second question. Yes. We are the leaders we are the leaders of that. In fact, we are champions of that in Africa. They call it the SATAM. We are the champions of the single African sky. No, hold on. Let me finish with that. And that aims to promote connectivity within Africa, easy connectivity. As it is, African nations are still setting hurdles all over their countries in terms of connectivity.
We don't travel amongst ourselves.
And there's a single sky in Europe. If you go to Europe, you can see how easy it is to move from Portugal to Spain, to Italy, so, and all that. It's so easy. No, there's single sky in the sense that there's no restriction in terms of flying across Europe. But here, imagine my flying to Cameroon. We're not flying to Cameroon for a long time. It's only during this government we have, done a deal with Angolan airline. Algerian airline. They come from Algiers to Abuja, Abuja to Douala back. So we have opened up that route now. Okay. But many other African countries are not connected because there's no single African sky. But Nigeria is one of the countries that's championing the single African skies, and the ICAO requires that you must have regional blocks first, cooperating to champion it, to open their regional. So before you now start doing talking of African East to African South Africa to no, they said regional blocks should come together, make sure they promote it, and then from there you now move to other regions. That is why we have done the bag for West Africa. South Africa has its own, East Africa has their own, but West Africa, it's called the BAG, the Banjul Accord. And that is in line with the ICAO requirements that we are now promoting connectivity within Africa, West Africa, by the BAG, the BAG group, of which I'm now